Yo. Alright, trying to finish this Dead Space, man. Kinda did play a little bit, but then I figured I might as well stream, because I did most of this game on stream. There we go. Shouldn't be too much more. I think it's probably like an hour or so left in the game. What's he fucking glitching? Oh, he's moving quick. Hmm. Where the frick's the battery? Gotta be somewhere around here. Doubt this is back here. Oh, it is. Jesus Christ. Fuck, that hurt. Type of armor he got on? The fuck? Stasis.
Entering zero gravity. You have figured out a plan?
The asteroid's held by a few gravity tethers. There's no emergency shutdown. I'll have to disable them the hard way. Plant the SOS beacon on the surface.
Okay.
What the fuck? Am I supposed to go through there? I think I am. fuck just hit me? Is there breath? Is there breath? I don't see any breath. I'm gonna have to go down. Hopefully I don't. Oh! That was about to fucking kill me. Oh my gosh! Something shooting at me.
Vacuum.
Oh, turned around. I am fucking turned around so bad. I don't even know where I'm going. Destroyed tether. Interior tether. Tether. Ah, I think that may be it. Well, probably should have waited. Alright. This place got me all turned the fuck around.
Entering zero gravity. You will figure out a plan.
The asteroid's held by a few gravity tethers. There's no emergency shutdown. I'll have to disable them the hard way. Plant the SOS beacon on the surface.
Okay. Come on, it has to work.
Bro, how the fuck you supposed to get through?
Entering vacuum.
Destroy tether. I don't know what tether they fucking talking about. At least I got an oxygen station. Oh, I think I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm fucking stupid.
Caution. Gravity tether disengaged.
I think I gotta destroy all of them. Oh, that's why I got the stasis shit all around the place.
Warning. Exterior gravity tethers offline. Interior tethers at full power.
Let's try not to die going through this motherfucker.
Exiting vacuum.
Knew I heard something. Goofball.
Caution. Gravity tether disengaged. Warning. Payload 8772 is no longer tethered. Untrained personnel must leave the mining bay immediately. Exiting zero gravity.
Oh, this shit wasn't good last time. I was gonna play Hogwarts on stream, but I just started playing and fucking got lost in the game. Damn it, I need that battery. Yeah, I ended up playing that game pretty much just non-stop, and it was very fun. May play again on multiplayer with some people. Oh, close. I knew I should have grabbed this thing. Deuces.
It's working. The beacon's online, broadcasting wideband. I'll align the receiver. This'll take a minute. Head on back to the tram station.
Oh, surely that is all part of the plan. Bro, what the fuck are you?
Quarantine shit with that hunter there. The system can't lift the lockdown.
Override the manual door release!
I'll try.
Not like this.
Damn it, the explosion's right half the circuit. Almost there. Hold it off. I got it. Get the manual release.
Chopped up. Oh yeah, I can't kill this guy.
Release is ready.
Not like this.
Manual release is ready.
I need this walking guy to chill the fuck out.
Manual release is ready.
Damn it. Try the door now.
Try it.
Quarantine lifted.
How? What the fuck? Which way? No, not that way. How? What the fuck was that? They're still coming, I'm sure. Fuck it, we got time. Let me check something real quick. I always forget to check to see if this shit's public. I'll literally do an entire fucking stream and unlist it and be like, oh fuck. Oh yeah, this is fucking unlisted. Make this public. I don't know why it starts off unlisted. That's weird. Alright, there we go. I'm out, bitch. Ah!
Restored.
What a dick.
I think it's gone.
Wait, let me restart the fucking stream. I do this shit every fucking. There we go. That should be better.
But I can't be sure. The system's bugged out again. I'm getting those camera glitches. The ones that look like my brother. Waving at me. At least the beacon's away. I'm aligning the... Wait. Array receiver not responding. Oh shit.
The comms array. We never fixed it. Guess it wasn't a broken encoder.
Then let's hope that 48 hours estimate was wrong too. No comms, no rescue. Take the tram to the bridge. I'll hack open the door to communications. You see what's happening with the array. And don't worry about Nicole. Like Hammond said, she'll do the smart thing.
What the fuck are you? Oh no! Never seen you guys. You come back alive? We gotta start moving with a purpose. Alright.
Cannot determine clearance level. Master security override required.
I don't know how many chapters this is, but I think there may be like 12. I thought I was close to done, but I may not be close.
Error. Power routing malfunction. Please stand by.
Wait, let me look, check something real quick. Oh yeah, I think I'm just a little bit over halfway. I'm not close as I thought. That's good. I may just chill though. I may just fucking turn on some tunes, look around the internet, see what's going on, I guess. Kinda don't even feel like playing this for the moment.
Now arriving at the bridge.
We did it. Hep, Isaac, a ship just shocked in. The USM Valor. They must have heard our SOS.
Oh
That
shit.
fast? What's a military ship doing way out here?
Out on patrol? Whatever, right now head for communications. Once we fix the comms array, we can get all the answers we need.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna kick it. Fucking kick it. Oh, it is All-Star Weekend. That'll be cool. Oh shit, that one got 12 views. Nice.
What's your favorite meal? People ask.
Damn, that's loud.
Probably wondering where I am right now. I'm kind of loud because there's a lot of train noise and stuff. That's right.
Nobody's wondering, bro. We can see this look like fucking New
I'm
York.
back.
You can
I'm
see the
back.
smug in the
So,
background.
every time I come back here, I always
It
get
look
a
like
deep breath
fucking New York. I
of
can
this
smell it through
wonderful
the
polluted
monitor.
air.
You can even smell
I
it.
don't know how you guys live here, but experience New York. Back outside, boys. Malewa. Malewa. You know, this was a spot you guys recommended. I'm gonna put up the comments right here. I heard that the pineapple
Water.
one was good. And then I'm thinking about getting the rice sheets, and I'm gonna let you guys know if this is worth it or not. Pineapple pork bun. I forgot the price, but I'm gonna find it. Put it down here. So here, you know, this is what I heard was good. So I'm gonna give it a try here. I think the breading is good. It's like crunchy on the outside. Got like a little hint of the pineapple, but it's like sweet, but not the bread. I'm talking about the bread, but it's not too sweet. Yo, for the price, I'm gonna give it a 8.5 out of 10. You know, John and Jason, they said it's so-so. Pretty ass. Like it's good, but it's like not crazy.
I had the same rating.
Oh, you
said 7. It's close.
8.5.
5. I say 8.
Hell no. You say 8? 8's still good.
Yeah, 7's pretty good.
8 is still good. Like, hey, you wanna go get it? Oh, too much sodium, you know? Just a little bit, just light drizzle. This is the beef one. I got the beef.
Damn, that's already halfway.
Oh dang, the texture is very thin. It's like it almost reminds me of like a drunken noodle. I think this is better than the pork bun. Like this one you could eat like 2 of these. That pork bun you can only eat 1. So like that, I don't know. The other one was too sweet. If you eat too many, like 1 is good. A little bit. Comment seller, that was my first time, and it was a great experience. I just stood in line like 30 minutes before the show, and I was still able to get in, get decent seats. I was kind of on the side view, but it's all good. And the total, like when you go in, you have to pay for your ticket, which was like I believe like 25 per person. And on top of that, they require everybody to get 2 items. On top of that, so I know, like for me, for instance, I got 2 drinks. And then on top of that was a 25. I would say that is a worth it experience if you're in New York and you've never done that. I'll give that like a 9.2 out of 10. The 0.2 just because it's close to 10, but I can't give it a 10. This is my 5th drink. I'm feeling kind of good. This place is amazing though. Each drink is like $7. 212. His size.
$7 ain't bad for a drink.
Whatever. It was recommended by a friend. We were originally going to go to Lafayette, which is like known for the circle croissants, but we woke up too late. I don't know whose fault that is, not my fault, but we woke up too late. And then they do like multiple croissants at 8, 11, whatever. We missed all that because we woke up late. So then we're gonna go to Supermoon Bakehouse. Hey, look at this matcha. What the fuck is that? Marshmallow? No, this is too sweet for breakfast, but get strawberry filled croissant donut or some shit. We came a little late. Like I'm sure it was baked fresh, but like we just came a little bit later than fresh, so it's a little stiff now. It's like a little. Took another bite and this white cream just started oozing.
Hey, yo.
Pause. What the fuck, bro?
That shit did not look appealing at all.
What the fuck is that? Is that like a apricot in there, or a peach or some shit?
Nah, I can't do that. Bro, finally. It smells so bad there, but smells less bad out here. At Kick, 1,200. How much? 1,200.
I need some fucking socks. It's cold in here.
Mattress drop. No fucking way. New York, you are different. New Yorkers will wait in line for anything, bro. A lot of you guys said Scars Pizza. We just had to pull up. Right now we're in line.
Wait.
I almost passed by and the
Were they
because
looking?
it says
They were waiting for a new
New York.
mattress to drop.
No way they waiting for a mattress drop, bro.
Wow,
Fucking with New York, you are different.
that
New
is
Yorkers will
different.
wait in line for
It must
anything,
be a
bro.
sale or
See that
something
says Scars
to
Pizza.
be waiting in
If you
line
pull
for a
up
fucking
right behind
mattress.
line, I almost passed by and I overlooked it because it doesn't look all that glamorous. But I guess it's always the places that don't look the most extravagant, always have the best flavors. I got their most popular pizza, you guys. I got too excited and I already took a bite. It was like pepperoni and peppers on it, and then he asked if I wanted to put hot honey on it, and I said, of course, put this shit all over it. I would give this a 9 out of 10. I would definitely come back here, for sure. It's about that time, bro.
His head just shrunk in half, bro. Yo, shiesty Ed.
We're at right now, Goki Boru. They opened at 5. We got here exactly at 5. And when we first walked in, it was not that packed. But then now that I'm looking around, it got packed. It got very packed all of a sudden. I heard that this was a solid ramen spot in New York. Maybe it's not the best, but I heard it's up there. So the lady just said it's a dipping ramen. I don't know, this is new to me. I just know the regular $1 ramen. This is talking about some fancy dipping ramen.
That's different. Like soba. I think you could dip soba and stuff.
But I don't know if I ate that correctly. The order and shit, I don't know if I just look stupid, but the flavors are there. I didn't even get to try the pork yet. Let me just get a small bite of the pork. Once again, I apologize to all my Muslim viewers. Hey, to my non-Muslim viewers that eat pork, that shit good. That was halal food cart, and you guys recommended me this spot. You guys said it was a late night spot. They opened at 6 p.m. I believe. I know this is the lounge.
Halal,
The
halal guys.
To me eating pork. Right now, I'm making up for that by eating something halal. It's late. It's like 2, 3 a.m. or some shit like that right now. So we're about to try this. I got the combo with the spicy rice. They got all that like freaking creamy ass white sauce. Pause.
How is it, bro? It's good? Is it worth?
Let me see. This is the meat and the. I can't even tell what this is. Bigger than that.
Damn, you got some white stuff on your cheeks.
This is by far the best $9 I've ever spent on food here in New York before. Hey, this is hey, this is top 10
That
food
garlic
I've
sauce
ever
be
spent.
hitting.
Shit, for real. 10 out of 10. Right now, we have no set plan, really. We just gonna go to a museum, do touristy stuff. You guys recommended the Met and MoMA, so that's what we're about to do. Right now, it's very cold. As you can see, I have to bring out the balaclava. Wings Cafe. No, it's good. Everything's
It's amazing, man. No.
$10. So I'm about to see if it's worth it or not.
$10. I feel like I seen that on
Ooh.
some picture or something.
Yeah, this shit is good as for $10, bro.
I don't
That's
know,
overpriced as
$10.
fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, for the experience, people always say experience. This shit was kind of worth it, bro. Look at that shit. It's like they don't skimp on that little filling at all, and then the little icing thing on top is like, wow, really good. You guys can see Momo's right behind me, and overall, like it was a cool experience. You know, just sitting around, you're just looking at a lot of art. A lot of times you're looking at this art and you're just trying to force yourself to think really and think deep. And sometimes these people are just slapping things together, just turning it in by the deadline, like and just calling it art. It's just the way it is. But people around are like, oh, it's a famous artist, so then they accept it. You know, there's a couple good pieces in there I looked at and like, wow, this is really good art. And then the other times I'm looking at it, I'm like, bro, I could make some shit like that myself, so it's all right. I'm not even looking at this shit though, for real. So now we are at Cat's Deli.
Oh, I
And one
fuck
of you
with
guys recommended this
cats.
spot to me, and he told me the famous one was the pastrami.
Cats
So
is
the pastrami right
crazy.
here. And then I asked him how much it was. This dude said 25.
Oh, hell nah.
Like for a sandwich. And he said $25.95. Alright, the first bite.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The meat, you know, that shit is savory and it's very smoky. It tastes good.
$25 for a
My
sandwich.
only personal complaint is I wish the
It's
bread
never
was
worth
a
it.
little rough, like had a little.
The
crunch
cats
to
in
it.
South Carolina ain't charging that much.
Soft and
It's
spongy.
just some New York shit.
$26 is a little crazy for a sandwich, but for the experience at Cass, it's definitely worth it just for the one time.
Dirty. 25 is crazy. Boom, 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 boom. hacker interview.
My name's Gummo. I'm a hacker. I've been a hacker for the past 36 years, and I'm here to tell my story. My story started pretty young, right? I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. Grew up absolutely dirt poor, and
I bet you I could play a
I
game right
had
next to
an
this
older
shit
brother. I had two older brothers,
and be
one half
chilling
brother and
doing that shit.
a natural sibling. And all of us grew up in Jacksonville. Growing up in Jacksonville, uh, you know, we only had a mom or mother. She raised us by herself, all three of us, the best that she could. She was an alcoholic, and she did the best, raising three boys. My mom passed away when I was 12 years old in 1985.
Oh man, I got the Skyrim music playing over
I
his fucking story.
actually woke up on December the
That's
7th,
fucked up.
1985, and pulled the covers back, and there was my mom. And so
That is crazy.
ever since then, I've been on my own. My brother and I, we went to go live with my aunt, but she failed at that miserably. And my father was in prison, so there was no choice really but to live with friends of the family, which we did for a little while. And my brother, he was about a year and a half older than me, so he was much more the free spirit, and so he just went on his way, went on to do his thing at 16 years old. By that time, I'm 14 and a half, and really on my own. And that's when I discovered computers, right? Actually, I discovered computers about 3 years earlier, before my mother passed away. Never really gave any consideration to it other than any other normal kid at the age of 8, 9, 10. So it sat until my mother passed away, and before she passed away, the night actually that she passed away, she had come home from graduation. My half brother had graduated basic training at Fort Benning, and the thing she told me before she went to bed was she asked me how my computer studies were coming along, and I lied to her, right? And I said they were going great. In actuality, I really wasn't doing anything. Then she passed, right? And then you deal
Be
with what you
the
can deal
most
with.
traumatic stories
12, 13 years
and
old.
experiences that lead to some
My
of the
outlet was computers. First,
some of the
I
greatest
withdrew,
individuals come
like
from
any other
tragedy.
kid does. I guess, I don't know.
Can't forget that.
And second of all, I
This
began
fucking
to master my
pillow.
computer. I had a TRS-80 Model 2, and I taught myself how to code, code BASIC. And for a couple of years, that's where I was, right? When people would ask me if I was fine, yeah, I'm fine, yeah. But my grades were really disastrous. I had a couple friends that I really engaged with, but no one too in particular. But I did withdraw. I did withdraw even more into my computer, right? I got an acoustical modem, connected that to a local bulletin board, and began to meet other people. Like me. And then, people ask about you, right? They want to know who you are, and back then, the internet really wasn't what people think it is now. It was more or less dial-up boards, ARPANET, closed-loop systems, such as things of that such. But I set up a bulletin board on a local BBS system, and at the ripe old age of 14, started to meet other hackers online. And I started to learn a lot of cool things like telephone phreaking, like how to make free phone calls. I discovered a subculture of people who existed on the phone lines, on the telephone lines, where you could talk to someone, you know, in London or in Paris or in Georgia or LA, and you could meet these people on the telephone these
See if I can get a game up next to it. Play a game while I'm fucking watching some shit. I'd have to put it in windowed.
Izanagi! Izanagi!
Oh, this is fire. Yeah, I'd much rather. Don't even gotta take up the whole screen.
telephone party line, so to speak. And so that was, you know, I'm 14 years old, I'm learning how to phreak telephone systems. Phreaking telephone systems was a way to actually access the old telephone systems, the old bell systems.
My dad used to know how to do some shit like that, where he can connect our cable to other people's houses. That shit was crazy.
Since the telephone system has gone digital, but so I'm 14 years old. I'm learning, I'm learning how to, code myself. I've set up a bulletin board. I'm meeting hackers, and I'm getting advice. I'm learning how to do things. I'm learning how to get the things that I need, right? Because I'm living with friends of the family, and they really, they too themselves were barely able to support me, barely themselves as well. So everything that I had to do was for myself, right? Everything. From food to money for clothes, for school, everything. My entire existence depended on my willingness to make sure that I was taking care of myself. And so that's what I learned how to do. I learned how to, at the age of 15 years old, I took a Bell and Howell language master, and I learned how to reprogram credit cards. To use them in stores and ATMs, back before ATMs really had a dedicated ATM line to verify a transaction. And of course I would understand the batching process and all that. But that was 32 years ago. And I just learned how to manipulate things to get the things that I wanted, whether it was printing a UPC code for food from the store, which I needed, or doing the magnetic gas handle flip. Back in those days, when you needed gas for your car, there was a dial on the gas pump, and you would flip the dial on and off. Well, If you would have taken,
I heard
if you
about
took
that before.
an old-fashioned speaker magnet and set it next to the handle that would flip it up and engage the pump, the pump would begin to run to distribute gas in the hose, but the numbers wouldn't turn. And so that was, so I kept learning these tricks, right? I kept learning little tricks to survive, survivability tricks. Learning how to social engineer people to get what I wanted, whether it was access to a specific computer that I wanted to dial in to steal some files from, or whether or not it was to convince the supermarket manager that I had left some food behind, when in turn I actually hadn't, just so I could eat that night.
That's clever.
So, you know, just growing up, meeting hackers online, people giving me what I felt like was worthwhile advice to survive, to be able to, you know, not wind up in a bad situation, and that's exactly how I kept myself from falling apart, from going under, living with, and all of the while, right, I'm still living with friends of the family. 1989 comes around, I'm 16, 17 years old. The friends of the family really had enough of me living there, so the official parting of ways, right? So there I am. I just turned 17 years old, and I'm on my own. I had a Chevrolet Chevette, a 1984 Chevrolet Chevette, no, a 1982 Chevrolet Chevette, powder blue, and all of my stuff was in there, and including my TRS-80 Model 2. And I lived in my car for the better part of the entire year of 1989. And it was tough, right? It was, you know, I dropped out of school. I began to lose focus. I began stealing cars, began using my skills in very unique fashions to obtain money quickly. Because when you're living in your car, what choice do you have? So yeah, I did that for about a year, and then I met a girl, and she became my girlfriend, and ultimately she became my wife, and she helped me realize what I was capable of doing, and her family took me in, and I went and got a job, you know, just bagging groceries and shit, and just kept doing that, right? You know, someone believing in me, you know, and still sticking to computers. I had a daughter, my daughter who turns 30 this December. My wife and I had a daughter, and I realized that you know, I needed to do better, needed to do more, provide more for my wife and my daughter, and so there I am bagging groceries, working in retail stores, and actually working hard and continuing my computer studies, teaching myself how C, COBOL, Fortran, all of the old languages, teaching myself computer languages, and taking care of a wife and a kid on $5 an hour, and kept doing that. And about 2 years into that, I got the opportunity. I saved up enough money to go to the Chaos Congress in Germany, which is an annual conference of hackers from all around the world. And
good morning.
I met some hackers like me who had not only been through a struggle, but were continuing to go through a struggle. And I met a good, I met a friend of mine. His name was Boris Floric. He went by the hacker name Tron, and we became really good friends. And Boris and I, we worked on a lot of smart card systems together. He taught me about smart cards, the little chip card in your wallet that everyone carries around. You know, that thing, what's in your wallet.
Will be perfect for going
and
out.
at the time, no one really knew what smart cards were. They were only used extensively in Europe at the time. And so Boris taught me about smart cards, these things that have a computer, a microprocessor in them. And he taught me that these things control many things, from television access to telephone access to making and receiving long distance calls. And so we worked on a crypto card scheme together to where we were able to actually reverse engineer about 5 different providers who issued chip cards, smart cards for their services. We successfully decrypted those services, and with that knowledge, you know, after we became friends, after a couple years, we began to converse back and forth. You know, at that point, this is '94, and now I'm attending the Chaos Congress each year, and meeting with Boris, and we're chatting back and forth on this, you know, all kinds of technology, most specifically smart cards. About that time, here in the United States, Hughes Space Systems was ready to launch a system called DirecTV. Back then, actually, it was called DSS, the Digital Satellite System, and Hughes built the system from the ground up. And I was interested in that. The reason I was interested in that, because at this point, it's 1995, my father has just been released from prison, and so I go to visit him, and he's watching television. I said, "Oh, Dad, what is that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a satellite system called DirecTV." And I was amazed by the picture quality and how great it looked, and it all came on a little small 18-inch dish. So that was pretty fascinating, and I looked at the system, and I'd realized that was it was controlled. All of the authorizations were controlled by, you know, you guessed it, a smart card.
Wow.
So it really took very little to no effort between Boris and I to collaborate on the DirecTV F card, which basically was a smart card that allowed authorization for customers to receive HBO, all of the channels, right, pay-per-views.
Oh, I remember those cards you had to put in your.
We successfully created a quite little humble system to reprogram those cards, and you know, laughed it off. Really didn't think anything of the wares after that. And then several months passed, right? Busy couple years. I'm going to school, and actually working at a carpet cleaning company, and just surviving, paying the bills, and continuing to enhance my skills. And I'm like, well, you know, the hell with it. You know, I really need some more money. You know, my daughter's, you know, getting ready to go into, you know, school, and so I wanted to put her into school. And so I decided to sell my wares for programming DirecTV satellite access cards, and so that's what I did. I realized that it was very easy to make money providing a service for people who did not wish to pay their bill. So I really wanted to one-up my game, right? So Boris and I, we worked together on some extensible ideas, and we created some software that we sold to the Canadians, and we made some money, right? We made
Persona, probably not even the best game to play when you just chill.
And I was able to get everything that I wanted, and so did Boris. And it was great, but there were a lot more factors than just Boris and I releasing code. There were other mitigating factors. You had an entire battalion of hackers from Rupert Murdoch's end trying to actually circumvent other services and competitors out there to destroy them, which they ultimately did. But that's a whole other story. So hacked DirecTV for a few years and made some money, got caught. And then after I got caught, I was offered an opportunity, right? Rather than to go and sit in prison for a long time. I was asked to consult in helping a company at that time called NDS to help them solve their conditional access problem, which at that point, you know, the entire DirecTV system was completely compromised, and NDS was looking for a way to stamp out piracy. So consulted with some good minds in Haifa, Israel for a couple years and went on my way. Came back to Jacksonville after hanging out, consulting, securing the DirecTV Period 4 card, helping a lot with that technology. Moving on, coming back home, my name sort of floated out in the wrong direction. This guy who was doing the DirecTV cards, his wife was a dispatcher, and she obtained my information, and then my wife's information, and then my family's information, and pretty much doxed me at that point. And back then, doxing someone was really a terrifying thing, as such it is now, right? When someone doxes you and posts your information on the internet, it's a shitty thing to go through. And in my circumstance, I had a lot more things that I was involved with the government. So with a lot of help from the government and my own self-motivation, I moved to Indiana. Packed up the kids, packed everything, and moved to Indiana.
This man was so good at hacking that
was
they
just gonna
fucking
really
had to
kind of lay
hire him.
low for a while.
You hear about those stories on like movies and
you know,
shit.
I
Damn.
just got back from Israel.
Damn,
I
crazy.
moved from Florida to Indiana, and really just kind of, you know, chilled out. I got a little job. I got a job at a newspaper, and I, you know, handled their websites and all of that. Real low key, low tech job, nothing fancy. Living in the middle of a cornfield, so to speak, and enjoyed it. Enjoyed the life for a couple years, and then I was asked to. And then a gentleman I met in Indiana invited me up to Chicago to take a look at his business to see what sort of technical advice I could give him for his business. And so I traveled to Chicago, sort of, you know, got to know him within several days. He got to know who I really was, about my background. And I went to work for him. At this point, right, you know, now I have a job, right, and I'm doing, I'm setting up, you know, IT infrastructure for his company, and making sure that all of his offices connect, and not only that, but securely, right? Cybersecurity really wasn't a thing then. It was barely even mentioned, but you know. But cybersecurity to me, right, to what exists now, or what people realize as cybersecurity now, to me is just an afterthought, or was an afterthought. Still sort of is, mentally speaking, because, you know, things that people are writing papers about, talking about, creating solutions about, these are all things that are built on technologies that were built when the internet was created, right? everybody's, talking about 1970s technology, and no one's really trying to fix the problem. Yeah, so I provided cybersecurity for him, his company, set up the whole deal. And then just started meeting new friends along the way in Chicago. That's how it is in Chicago. And one thing led to another. I met a gentleman named Willard Buddy Harper. And he worked at the CME in Chicago. He was one of the largest hog traders in the world, really. And he gave me an opportunity to create some special networks for the CME to connect to the NYSE. And so with that, after doing several of those, they were really simple for me, but I created some ultra high-speed private networks that only the CME and the NYSE still use. And so he was impressed with that, and he's like, what else can you do? And I'm like...
Just so people know, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange.
That is correct, yes. Yeah, so I set up 2 bidirectional unique fiber lines specifically for those 2 exchanges and secured them. So yeah, he asked me what was next. So I'm like, hey, there's this thing called Bitcoin. It kind of piques my interest. And he asked me what I needed. I said, about $1 million would work. And he literally opened up a file cabinet and had $1 million. And he's like, all right, go to it. And that's what I did. At that point, I built a supercomputer that was able to mine Bitcoin. Mined about 5,000 Bitcoin, and at that point, I believe Bitcoin was trading at $200 to $300 a coin. And so he was impressed, and so was I, actually. And so we built 3 more over the next 8 months. I built 3 more and had them right there at 107 West Van Buren Street, across from the CME, and just sucking up electricity. But at the end of that 1.5-year run, we were able to mine close to 80,000 Bitcoin. So yeah, kind of, after a couple of years of doing that, I really felt a little sense of accomplishment, but I really didn't feel like I was done. So I ran into a gentleman. So I'm just I'm squandering around Chicago, right? I've made, some Bitcoin, I'm hanging out, walking around the Loop, hanging out in Millennial Park and just hanging out with my friends. And it kind of kicking back, and I met a gentleman, and he said, hey, our company needs a webmaster, right? And a webmaster is just basically someone who just does web work for a company. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, I'll come and be your webmaster, right? Because having a job, having a legitimate job completes who I am, right? I could sit around and do whatever I want to make money, but in the end, I think it's about working an honest 9-to-5. And so, yeah, hey, Jackson, I'll go and be a webmaster at your software company. And so I went to work there as their webmaster, and it was hilarious, right? Their vice presidents, they're like, well, this is a very important job, and you should blah, blah, blah. And I'm, yes, sir, and, yes, ma'am. And I really kept the ruse up as long as I could, but I was outed by a friend of mine that worked there, and he outed me to the marketing manager, and the marketing manager, she outed me to the entire staff. And eventually I became responsible for their cybersecurity practice. And so I'm like, well, shit, I guess I'm doing cybersecurity. So here I am doing cybersecurity for a software company in Chicago, unintended, right? But honing my skills, right? Figuring out the best method for to stand up specific protocols and systems and things of that nature from a cybersecurity perspective. And so that's what I did. Did it pretty well. But then they fired me. They fired me. And so yeah, it was kind of a thing between the owner and myself. He didn't like me, and I surely didn't like him. So now that that's public, I really didn't like him. So after that, right, I just
Packed his
took a
ass
couple
up.
gigs as cybersecurity. Just kind of, just did my thing. Packed up my stuff the entire time in Chicago, and came back to Jacksonville. And again, doing consulting with a company for cybersecurity, and I enjoy it. But that's what led me to where I am now, right? From some of those angles. I've been responsible for putting some heavy hitters away. I've worked with law enforcement in the past, some real heavy hitters.
It's ironic.
I'm really good at hunting hackers and finding people, and not finding just people, but finding the real hacker, right? The real hacker that's really causing mayhem. I'm that guy that looks for that hacker, and I do that very seriously and continue to do that because I provide my service not only for companies, right, but for celebrities and stars, right? They consult with me. I work with them personally and to solve any cybersecurity questions or issues that they have. Some of the things that people don't understand is that everyone carries around a smartphone. Watching Edward.
I feel like it's only right. Like a lot of the hackers that he catches, he should give them opportunity to try to better themselves. It's only right because that's what happened with him. If no one gave him that opportunity, who knows where his life would be. Could still be behind bars.
Snowden, do all of this ridiculousness, hiding under covers and everything. Everyone should know that your smartphone is a PC, is a portable computer, and the things that smartphones are capable of doing are very terrifying. There just recently was an exploit that I had used for years for iOS that allowed me to actually listen in on your phone conversations, to read your SMS messages, to read your email, to actually see everything that you do on your iOS device. And those sort of exploits exists everywhere, in everything. Almost everything has a GPS chip in it. Almost every device has a chip in it, and if it has a chip in it, it can be exploited. And when things are exploited, sometimes devices, things, systems, and people are exploited for one reason or another. There's a lot of things that are very scary out there. There are right now. There are people selling your information. They are selling your Wi-Fi network. They're selling your Wi-Fi credentials. They're selling your Ancestry.com genealogy, data. They're selling all of that.
Nuts.
There's the thing that people don't really understand is that there really is no more privacy in this world. Unless you go and live on an island somewhere in the South Pacific with no electricity and no other people, there are things to be taken advantage of, and systems and devices and so on.
It's funny because I've always known that shit, man.
It takes a professional car thief about
fucked.
30 seconds to steal a car now, because you really don't need to hotwire anything or use a screwdriver or even a laptop. You can use an RF intercepting device, which could do a man-in-the-middle attack with just a key fob, and you can steal someone's, $150,000 car with that. The technology stacks out there are endless that are being taken advantage of. Most notably are the cellular systems, the mobile systems. What people carry around most contain the most value and the most data. Putting your information on TikTok, creating a TikTok account and filming from so many locations, you don't realize what you're really doing is you're really giving everything that you hold possessive and private out to the world, and that's where we see people being attacked, people being their bank accounts being compromised, etc.
Fuck. Shit's crazy.
Speaking of bank accounts, a lot of people realize that, when you log into your bank, and a lot of banks will really deny this, but banks actually have backdoors into your accounts, into your system. Just think about it for a moment. You log into your bank account, through suchandsuch.com, and you have to answer all of these ridiculous questions and get a two-factor SMS message sent to you so you can enter in the code. But people really don't realize is that banks also have backdoor access to where applications like your TurboTax and your money management software, all of that, how do you think that connects to your banks? And so with these backdoor connections into banks, things continue to be inherently insecure. We see data breaches every day where millions of people have their information stolen, and not only stolen, but sold and used against them. One of the things that we also have to realize is that we have quantum computers coming. Quantum computers will make all current and former encryption algorithms absolutely obsolete. So if you have something that you've encrypted in the past, or you have some encrypted files, and they've been anywhere on the internet, in a book, wherever someone else can access your encrypted files, well, very soon those files won't remain encrypted long. And so hopefully, those secrets were quite well encrypted. Websites have so many flaws in them. Everybody needs a website nowadays. Everybody has a website to go to, their favorite website. Right now, about 90% of the web and the technologies that support them in your applications and websites, they're insecure. They're inherently insecure. Whether or not it's a web server running an open port or a misconfigured file on your server, there's something that there's a little bit of something out there for everyone to take advantage of, and now everyone is paying the price. Everyone now is becoming victims to these crimes, to where they thought they weren't a victim, where they never thought they would actually potentially be a victim. The more mobile applications, the more people that are using the phones that the more people that use mobile devices require more mobile applications, require more data centers, require more servers for those applications to connect to. And those are all at risk. It really, all you have to do is do a DNS query on anyone's web domain, and you can begin to uncover the pieces of how insecure most organizations and individuals are. People don't realize that they are, when they're at home, they put a password on their router, and they think that's it. That's, I'm safe, I'm secure. But no one really understands the context of, using an additional layer of protection like a VPN or some sort of ad blocking technology. And people don't realize that their IP address is basically like a flag out there on the internet for them.
Wait, did he say if you got a VPN and ad block, you're fucked?
And people
I
don't
mean, you
realize that
probably
their
are,
IP
but
address, and people don't realize that their IP address is basically like a flag out there on the internet for them, and for them to be discovered, for them to be stalked, harassed, intimidated, swatted. It doesn't matter. And so it all comes with understanding, these technologies, and understanding how to protect ourselves and how to protect yourself against bad people wearing hoodies and cloaks. As I said, not all hackers are bad people. most hackers, everyone is a hacker. If it weren't for hackers, we would not have Wi-Fi, we wouldn't have cameras, we wouldn't have many things that we take for granted today. Criminals are the ones that give hackers a bad name. Criminals are the ones who are breaking into systems and stealing information and creating data breaches. Criminals are the ones who are stalking people in bad contexts and stealing from others who don't belong, not hackers. And so, you know, it's been said before, and here I am saying it too, right? Hackers are not bad people. Criminals are bad people, but hackers, no. My thing now, right, is to tell my story, to tell people that, you know, hackers really aren't bad people. Hackers really have a story to tell too. You know, I have a story to tell, and I'm telling it, and I'm almost done telling it. But, you know, we're just like anyone else. We live, we breathe, we have feelings. We actually overindulge in our feelings because we wonder what people are always doing and what the next best thing is. You know, I painted my pinky pink back in 2006 because a friend of mine, I was visiting a friend of mine in Fort Myers, and her daughter came and tugged on me. She said, "Hey, why are you such a bad hacker? Why don't you be a good hacker and do good things?" And ever since then, man, you know, I've advocated for doing good things with your skills, helping people, helping
That's
others.
dope.
You know, not doing something for yourself.
That's dope that he wants to take that route, but at the same time, like, it's already a full fucking sea of hackers out there now, and I'm sure there are many more hackers trying to do criminal activity than those who are trying to prevent it. I would assume that the tides of that battle favor those who are doing criminal activity for now, but who knows? That may change. I mean, honestly, I think it'll just get worse. We're getting to the end of the oh shit, it's the internet era, and we're starting to get into the era of this is the internet. People are gonna start doing way crazier shit. Like he said, those supercomputers are already built now. Chat GPT is a thing. You know, it's AI is really taking off, and it's getting crazy. It's getting fucking crazy, but
Doing something for others, making sure that you know your mom and dad wakes up in the morning without their shit being, you know, sold on a dark market, and and to help people, right? To help people achieve their goals, to help people understand who they are, not just by where they've been or what they've seen in the shit that they've been through, but to help people understand how to get to where they're going by telling them what I've been through, the shit that I've been through. You know, I've been through some real serious shit in my life, but that's never deterred me from becoming who I am and who I expect to be. And it really hasn't stopped me from helping others and showing other people the way.
Preach.
You know, with this pink pinky nail now, you know, that young lady just got married this year. And that's my goal, right? To help as many ladies, as many women, as many females get into cybersecurity. It's not just a guy's thing. It's just not where a sausage fest of guys walking around saying they hack something. It's about people who are critical thinkers, who contribute, who care and have empathy and share their knowledge. That's what it's about. And that's what I'm here to help people understand and to help people and encourage people to do with their skills. Yeah, man. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. I have my jump bag right here with my Bitcoin collection on them, and I'll show Mark after. But the only thing that I can encourage people to do is never give up.
Jump back.
Always hold your head high, and never, ever, ever ever consider giving up, no matter how tough things may get.
True.
Because one way or another, you'll find a way. You'll find a
That's
path.
one thing I feel like
And
this
so,
generation could definitely use more
hopefully,
of.
what I've said, hopefully, my story helps. I don't
Is
know.
motivation
But
and realizing that
if it reaches one
there's
person
different
and it gives someone
there's different ways.
that motivation to say, hey, you know,
Everyone has a
I can do
different
that
road
too. You know, I can go from living in cars to
to their success.
consulting with
Giving
know,
up is not the option.
celebrities and
Things get
governments.
crazy.
You know,
It's time to hop on a different road
you
and
can do it too.
try
So
something else, but never give up.
there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that we can't do. It's only about what you
Preach,
choose
man.
to do and the
Fucking
decisions
preach,
that
dude. Fucking hell yeah, man. Oh, follow up? Oh, shit.
All right, Gummo, welcome back.
And thank you, Mark.
It's been a while.
It has.
So there were so many questions left unanswered last time we did this that I'd love to know. I think a lot of people would like to know. I think let's just start with some questions and we'll go from there.
Sure.
What? How vulnerable are we all to people like yourself, to a hacker?
The average person is exceptionally vulnerable to any sorts of intrusions, whether they be digital or in real life. The trails that we leave behind are the narrative that spreads within, right? Everyone leaves trails on social media platforms, with purchases, with any type of interaction in their daily life, such as when you drive in a car, you may or may not realize it, but your license plate is being captured with ANR. And at that point, that data is fed into public systems, and you are able to be identified rather quickly with someone with mild potential and a little bit of Python programming language.
How is your license plate being picked up?
Mostly through municipalities where they are capturing your license plate as they go through state pass systems, Easy Pass, Sun Pass, etc. And so those systems also share with the public scope your license plate. And of course, there's DOT cameras everywhere. So all you really must remember is that someone with a little bit of ingenuity and some time on their hands can write together a program that's able to identify your specific license plate and then ping you or create an action on that. So that's just one narrative. There's so many, as I mentioned, social media. That's a terrible place to. It's a terrible place to share your life with, because who are you sharing your life with? Would you go out of your front yard and say, hey, put all of your personal photos in your front yard for your neighbors to see? But yet most people are doing that on the internet, on the World Wide Web, on apps, etc. And so that causes a problem when you are trying to expect some sort of privacy away from digital threats.
What's been the most, like if you want to do something really dark and disturbing with your skills, what kind of stuff have you gotten into? I mean, you could do something in the name of good, like with, trying to find sex offenders, for example, or something like that. You could also do things against corporations. You could do all kinds of stuff, right?
You can, and I have, and I'm very well proud of the things that I've done in my past. I've done some things that even shocked me along the way. I always speak to people with a lot of passion and telling them to use their skills for something good, because it's so easy to use your skills in such a nefarious way. In the past, for me, it was catching thieves, targeting retail outlets in the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars, to which those threat actors are in prison still to this day. it's my goal, and I've always used my skills after I was able to identify that I'm a good guy, right? And it's always been my intent to make sure that people don't have to wake up with their credit ruined or their lives digitally firebombed
It's too
because
late. That's already
they
happening to
were
people.
just part of something innocent. And I feel good when I help situations that right those wrongs with my
Gotta use
skills.
the bathroom. I'll be back.
What's behind it for you? What motivated you to even follow this path? Is there something in your personality? Is it fueled by anger? Is it fueled by why are you a hacker, basically?
You know, I just turned 50, and when I was 7 and 8 years old, I used to take apart our television set with a butter knife, and I wanted to know where the pictures came from, and I wanted to know how it worked. I was curious as, you know, like, how does this thing get sound? And I was fascinated with it. And so I could not put the television back together, and my mom warmed my behind for it. But I never stopped with that. Next up were the telephones. I'm 8 years old, and I'm fascinated with telephones. I'm fascinated with the fact that at 8 years old, I'm able to identify touch tone versus ringtone, and DTMF versus pulse, and those systems were fascinating because you could, for instance, on the old analog systems, you could take a receiver and go click, 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 and you could get an operator, right? And well, that was cool. And so what else can you do with all of these clicks and sounds and pops and things? And so it was not long before I discovered phone freaking. And by 9 years old, I'm freaking telephone systems. The drive is the curiosity. It's the curious nature. It's the wonder of being able to accomplish a task. That's what drives.
Well, and this gets into, there's many different ways of doing the kind of things that hackers do, right? There's many different areas they get into.
There are so many areas of hacking, and that's where my encouragement comes from.
It was fascinating. Last time you talked about what you did with gas stations when you were young and broke. That was great.
Yeah, so I would take, when I was a kid, I was living in Chevrolet Chevettes, 1989, and I took a speaker magnet, you know, and I broke it off, and the old man at the Fina station he sat in a chair, and you would pull up and you would wave, hey, and you know, you had the lever, and you would take the magnet and stick it to, you know, it's facing the boulevard, and you just stick it here, and you flip the lever, and it's gas is gushing in your tank, but the numbers are not moving, and so, and as he comes out, you know, to accept payment for your fuel, you pull the magnet off, and you just hold it in your hand like everything's cool, and you get like $30 worth of gas for $2 or $3.
And today, what kind of things are you getting into?
They went out of business, by the way.
No, of course, yeah. But the gas pumps have changed since then, too.
Yes.
But what kind of things do you get into nowadays?
Nowadays, I consult, and I've joined some ventures to where I continue to work every day, a 9 to 5, bringing my skills to fruition for the greater good. I still threat hunt. I still track down people who need to be tracked down. And I even get on Zoom calls. I do what you think I do, what people think I do. What I've read the comments. I have not looked at that video that I shot with you a year ago, but before I came here, I read the comments, and the comments were very moving, and that's why people telling me that, I helped save them. They were at the bottom of a barrel, or they were at their wits' end, and they saw my words of encouragement. That's what I do. That's why I get up every morning. That's exactly what I do this for. I make sure that
fucking gnarled.
your mom and grandma and your wife and husband and kids sleep safe at night, because someone doesn't want them to sleep safe at night.
There's a lot of evil in the world, isn't there?
There sure is. And you must know evil to face it. And I certainly am not afraid to face any type of evil, Mark.
Has it gotten worse in the decades that you've seen?
It has, unfortunately. When I was a child, it was happy, fun things like sending someone a virus and opening the CD drawer, or having endless JavaScript pop-ups. That was fun. But as with society shifting from an analog life to a digital life, the bad things unfortunately come along with them. So instead of the old days of Bonnie and
Crazy
Clyde
that he's sitting there talking about that, and I have my
stick-ups in
fucking
banks, it's occurring in
1337
so many
X right
channels
up there.
because
That's
those
hilarious.
channels have been opened up for anyone to become a criminal if that's their so desire. The landscape is changed brutally as we see software
Just in
now
case.
being
I don't know who may watch this
being
shit
created
one day.
for weaponry like Stuxnet and WannaCry, and these types of systems that are introduced to create panic and havoc with society. And your iPhone, they're continuing to develop and increase in frightening precision. You don't have to look any further than TikTok and look at the algorithm on how frighteningly accurate it is. Or when you're speaking around a bunch of mobile devices, iPads, whatever, then you start seeing ads for the things that you were speaking of. That technology is being used to weaponize. It's being weaponized to be possibly used against people unknowingly in the future. And so yes, the landscape is growing darker and more sinister as more people wish to seek their wealth, whether it be cryptocurrency theft or traditional theft of banking systems. The fact that governments now are keen to begin a war on just the idea of software being deployed is quite frightening. And unfortunately, that will be society's new reality in the future.
How does it make you feel having such an unusual and powerful skill set? Because you could do anything, right? You're wealthy from your Bitcoin.
I'm quite wealthy.
Yeah, so you don't have to work. You could be in Aruba right now for...
I do not have to work if I don't choose to. I have over $7 billion worth of Bitcoin, yes.
Wow.
But you choose to work...
A 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Every day. Monday through Friday.
Just because you're doing what you love to do and you believe in it.
I just explained to your viewers that that's exactly what motivates me.
Yeah. So how does it make you feel to have this unusual series of skills?
It makes me feel useful to be part of something bigger when I'm asked to be part of it. I've always wanted to live a normal life. I've always wanted to... I like wonder how the normal person lives. That, you know, you get up and you get on the train, right, and you go to work in an office in downtown Chicago, which I've done, which, you know, I wanted to feel that. I want to feel that, and I can't. Even though I've done these things, even though I rode a train and I hated it. I hate Metro in Chicago. The It frightens me. I am reserved. I think about things very cautiously before I speak, and I certainly think 4 to 5 times before I react. Yes, I can breach any system or network, whether in real life or digitally. And again, it's not me to be here to brag. You asked the question. So I've proven myself. I went from a kid in Jacksonville, Florida, being scrappy, picking up Coke bottles on 5th Street on the west side, to making sure that I never have to pick up any more goddamn Coke bottles. And I promised my mom I wouldn't do that either. So these are the things that keep me in check, making sure that I don't fuck up.
Is poverty the motivator behind a lot of what you're doing then?
No, it's not. Poverty wasn't anything new to me. You know,
What has technology made life better for us, or is it undermining our ability to find happiness?
That's a great question. It's sort of both, right? As clearly now we're able to film Hollywood cinematography type interviews in any location, and call anyone. The communications, they're so advanced and so unbelievable, even from 30 years ago, 20 years ago. I still marvel being able to walk around with my flip phone and make a call to someone in Tokyo. The dark side of technology has always been there, and it's making things worse because you have websites like Twitter and Facebook and MySpace and all of these ridiculous things that people share all of their information with, that's reshaping the foundation of who we are as a species. Such as, take for instance, now you have people that simply type in shorthand because they've never written a letter with a pen.
Yeah.
There are so many disastrous consequences to come. You have the ideas and expectations of the metaverse, which I hate saying, and the Web3 or Web4, the engaging future of social engagement in an avatar-based fantasy reality that already is present, with cryptocurrencies and non-fungible tokens being the basis of these technologies. And I feel that these social technologies, as they become more ingrained, will dissolve our desire to wishing to touch one another, as it already does now. Just look at people who date on apps. They have no emotion or feeling, basically, because they've become numb to seeing so many people that they have a choice to date or see.
True.
What happened to people touching each other and having an honest conversation? That should be found again, but technology is going to prevent it every step because someone has a click or pay-per-view or an ad dollar or something that's driving it or an influencer or so the landscape changes as the more our lives become dependent on technology in a pretty sinister way, unfortunately.
So it's safe to say that social media, even though it's supposed to bring us all together, it seems to be tearing us apart at the same time.
Absolutely. Ask any lawyer in any city, anywhere in the world.
Any teenager.
Yeah. Ask any lawyer what the number one reason that they are handling a divorce, and they will tell you Facebook. The number one reason. The number one reason. Let that be an indication of the things to come. People say, oh, well, I'll use Twitter, or I'll just anonymously use TikTok or these other silly services. They're entertaining and should not be used for more than 10 minutes a day, but people spend hours and hours on these things. Yeah, when is the last time that you can find someone under 30 years old that spent most of their time outside speaking to other people rather than looking at a glass slab?
What's your prognosis for mankind then, with all this technology that's exponentially growing and progressing?
I believe there's a great prognosis for mankind. I don't paint a bleak picture or outlook at all. I think that we are going to do just fine in the future once we get through some of these silly road bumps that we experience now. And in the future, technology will actually be so transparent within our lives that it will be hard to imagine a life without it. And so we still touch things like cameras and phones and computer keyboards. And when the technology becomes invisible, that's when things will become much, much better.
That's why Elon's already working on different chips. I heard this year they're gonna start human testing for I forgot what they called it, but yeah, I think the jump from analog to digital, I think we will also have a huge jump from digital to whatever the next thing is.
The puck device speaker things, these are all poor attempts at that reality. Things will be great. With anything, we have our perils. Look at internal combustion engines, for example. We fully recognize that they're bad for our planet, but we're just now taking action on those issues. And so it's good to see that shift, because that was one of the first indicators of how bad technology treats us, was the invention of technology that's polluted the planet so far.
So given that you're, as a hacker, you're looking for vulnerabilities constantly, right?
Right.
That's what you do.
Yes.
Does that bleed into your personal life when you're interacting with somebody? You're seeing their vulnerabilities?
It does. It certainly does. And it's an unfortunate consequence of just...
You know how they got eye tracker programs? I wonder if someone's gonna make, they probably already got this, like a eye tracker program where you can like blink 3 times and it'll click, or like blink twice and it'll click. Instead of using a mouse like this, I could just look around with my eyes and click with my eyes. That'd be fucking nuts. But then if you get to playing like first person shooters and shit, that'll be really crazy. That would be fucking crazy. Cause you'll be able to just look and fucking click with your eyes, and it sounds actually kind of cool.
Me being who I am, I try not to, but I readily notice things in someone's presence, whether it's the 14 slats in the door behind you, or the 16 different vents in this room. I look for the risk associated with any situation that I encounter, and determine the threat and possibility of either reduction or improvement within a few seconds. One of the things that I've always had a condition to where it's where I see numbers, where when people are programming in Python or whatever, you see numbers and letters, and you see syntax error, etc. But I don't see any of that. I don't see numbers, syntax, or brackets. I simply see colors, and those colors are associated with everything that I encounter, including people in real life and online. And so it is, yes, I cannot escape the fact that I'm a hacker, and that's who I am. I don't clock in at 9 a.m. and turn it off at 5. And so it's definitely in my personal life. It's entered into my personal life in good and bad ways, and I look to avoid it as much as possible in my personal life.
Even though you see how the evil exists in the world and is progressing, you remain an optimist.
I do.
You're in the front lines of all the evil that's being done, or a lot of it, right? Especially in technology and things like that.
I am, and I believe, it's just like any belief. No one likes the police, right? What's wrong with people? Who are you going to call when you're getting jumped on? The police, the police were beat up because there's bad police in cities that do bad things. Well, with any profession, there's going to be bad apples, and it's so cliche to say, but it's true. The fact that people aren't using their common sense really is a strong indicator of what we know, what we've learned, and where we're heading. And so that's pretty much the summary of my feeling on that.
Keeping it a book.
So you have very little education. You didn't go to college. You didn't graduate high school, did you?
I did not. No, I, watching the Cosby Show, but if you are driven by a core belief like I am, and for me there are many, then you'll find great joy and passion within anything that you do, whether it's information technology, cybersecurity, or being a brick mason. No one judges you. No one wants to judge you. But everyone wants to be the main character in the show.
Facts.
Everybody, everywhere you look in society, on all of the internet, you see "will fight for you" or "fighting for you" or "breaking news this" or who are we fighting? I mean, what, lawyer ads on billboards and "will fight for you." What does that mean? Like, what happened to "we will litigate properly"? We will litigate your case. Why is fight and all of this anger? I mean, I'm beside myself when I am in public and look at like a television screen and they have a news feed, and I see people yelling and screaming at each other, and back to you, Bob, and they yell and scream for 8 minutes, and then they go to a commercial, and then it's back to yelling and screaming again with no real constructive output or resolution. And now we are at the throes of a madman with nuclear weapons in Europe, and if that's not the most scary thing about someone having technology at their disposal, I don't know what is. So you want to know who has the best big button with a chip in it? It would be that guy.
That's crazy.
And my heart is with everyone in Europe.
Is capitalism or greed the biggest problem that we have? I mean, there's such a wealth gap in our country, and it just seems like the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and it just seems like it's just going to continue that way.
No, I don't see it that way. I see the motivations coming from misinformation, from what we consume. Everybody's got their face glued to something. You have your favorite website. They have their favorite website. They have their favorite website. You obtain your information from all of these different streams. And once that information becomes distorted, then you become distorted. I had a man come up to me in a restaurant and started screaming at me about, political things, and it was frightening. And so people, again, I must have conversations. Go to your local bar or dive or park and meet your neighbor. I bet anyone that they don't even know 4 or 5 of their neighbors that live around them. And most people don't even know their next door neighbor. That's what's wrong. It's not, we should fear this, or this government's not doing this for us, so we should ask for more and encourage even more change to people who will never enact it. We are all unique with our own heart. It's easy to have a conversation. Try it. It's not hard to do.
And Gama, what would you say is the most important thing all of this has taught you?
It's taught me to share these experiences that I speak of now for the second time, and most likely the last. I have read the words that people have written to me in response to the first video that I recorded with you, and it's overwhelming and heartwarming to know that I've been validated. And so everybody
that's sweet,
believed in me, everybody on your channel has shown me that love. And that's all I'm about, man, is just making sure that we use our hearts for something. We use our hearts for something good. We're only here for such a short time. And people argue and fight and panic, and just find your heart like I found mine. And once you do, right, you will realize the things that you've done aggressively all your life have been wrong.
Preach.
My only regret is I wish I had more time and I wish I had found my heart sooner. to share the things that I know now. And so
Look, everybody
I'll keep
being
doing that.
nice. He got a lot of
And
different
I
interviews.
want people to do that as well.
Functional heroin
Excellent.
addict.
Gummo, thank you so much for coming back and sharing more of your wisdom with us.
Thank you, Mark.
Shout out
It's my
Gummo.
last time for sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fuck it, y'all subscribe and give a like. And give a like. I'll probably go through these and watch these through the days. This is good shit. I know I seen I seen part of that one, and I think I seen the Mafia Boss one. I think a lot of people seen that one, so good shit. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Obviously I didn't do shit, just watch videos, play the little games, but that's probably what I'm gonna do next time I stream too. So alright, till next